BTEC Applied Science, Unit 1 Chemistry, Relative Mass. Now, different elements have got different masses. Because they've got different numbers of protons and neutrons, then they have different masses. A hydrogen atom has a very, very small mass. Something like a uranium atom, its mass is much, much bigger. Now, how heavy are they compared with each other? That's their relative mass. Now, is the relative atomic mass how many times heavier they are than hydrogen? And the answer is no. We don't actually use hydrogen. What we say is that a carbon atom has a mass of 12. Okay, a carbon atom has a mass of 12, and so a 12th of the mass of a carbon atom is 1, and then the masses of the other atoms are relative to that. So it's how many times heavier they are compared to a 12th of the mass of a carbon atom. Don't worry too much about this. Basically, carbon is 12, nitrogen is 14, oxygen is 16, hydrogen is 1. Those are the important numbers. Why aren't they whole numbers? Because each element has isotopes. Each element will have different forms which have different numbers of neutrons. And so if you look on a periodic table or a data book, the relative atomic mass will be an average. For example, magnesium is 24.3. Okay, because it's got different isotopes and it's the average mass, bearing in mind the abundance of the isotopes, how much of the isotopes there are as well. How do you find out the relative atomic mass? Well, you look it up on a periodic table. You should have a periodic table by now, and it's the big number. The big number is the relative atomic mass. The small number is the atomic number, or the proton number. In this particular table, it gives you them all as whole numbers. On the table that we use, it will give you it to 1 decimal place. We're going to be working to 1 decimal place in all our calculations. So it's the big number. If you look, find oxygen is 16, fluorine is 19, neon is 20. And this is the relative atomic mass. Now, what is the relative mass of a water molecule? Well, now a water molecule has got an oxygen atom and 2 hydrogen atoms. It's H2O. So its relative mass is 18. And we say that's its relative molecular mass. Its relative molecular mass is 18. What is the relative mass of an ethanol molecule? See if you can pause the video and work it out for yourself. Carbon is 12, hydrogen is 1, oxygen is 16, so ethanol will be 46. So 2 12s, 6 1s, and a 16 is 46. Here are some for you to have a go at. What about ionic compounds? Well, there's relative atomic mass, relative molecular mass. With ionic compounds, we call it the relative formula mass. Now, the formula for sodium chloride is NaCl, so the relative formula mass will be 23 plus 35.5 is 58.5. That's the relative formula mass of sodium chloride. Work out those. There's your homework. I'm not going to tell you the answers. Work them out. So, in summary, relative atomic mass is how heavy an element is, the atom of an element is, compared to a 12th of the mass of a carbon atom. The relative atomic mass. Relative molecular mass is for molecules, and relative formula mass is for ionic compounds.